everyone, this is meRz doing another audio commentary, and oh, excuse me. It's a Terran vs Protoss on Katrina. Sadly, there's a lot of Protosses in our cap currently, or I'm just being unlucky to face all of the current TOS users that resides there, but I've been playing like nothing but TOS lately, and if it isn't TOS, it's Terran, so I don't have any Terran vs VODs yet, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to play some Zergs and record a couple of VODs of it. So, on the game on Lost Temple, you saw me facing carriers, and I face carriers in this game too, and there's been a lot of carriers recently from all the TOSs I've met, and I'm usually very bad at handling carriers because I've always been bad of handling carriers, and like when you see carriers you kinda get a sort of fixed mindset of what to do, and when things don't really work out as you hoped they would, you start to play really, things fuck up when your game plan doesn't work out, and you feels like you're just helpless, and that's what I hate about carriers. If everything works out as planned when you're facing carriers, it's okay to deal with, but as soon as things go bad, like they take out an expansion you'd hope that would survive, or you lose a battle which you expected to win, I really get off my game when stuff like that happens, when carriers are in the game, you know. And I get kinda cowardly, you know. I'm playing like a coward when I face carriers because I have so many lost games because of carriers, so I hate carriers. Katrina is a pretty fun map actually. I didn't like it at first because of the odd way the main is constructed, you know, that you can't really build any of your factories close to your command center and stuff like that, and that's pretty annoying. You have to build them like down below the gates or there, and that's really not funny, because in the beginning you want your units to be as close to your entrance as possible, and they can't because you'll just mess up like the way your buildings are, and it'll be very tight in the base, and units will have trouble making their way out of there, so you're kind of forced to place them below your gas, which can be troubling if you need units to arrive fast at your choke in a rush situation where TOS does a 2-gate goon rush. But it's not that bad though, and in this game I kinda compensated with placing my factory a little bit below my barracks and close to my gazer, so it's not that far away, and units barely make it through there around at the right side of the machine trap, so it's okay. So I like to go the FD build on this map simply because there's like, you know, I don't really know why. I had a good explanation for that, but I kind of forgot about it. That's really bad, but you know, it feels a lot safer with FD because, oh yeah, you can mine up the place, and there's so many ways of entering your choke, to get to the point of your choke. You can basically, you have 3 or 2 ways to get there, so I feel a lot safer if I just place some mines in my actual choke and place some mines around those entrances in case he wants to backstab me. And also, if you have siege only and he manages to backstab you, you're pretty much screwed. But if you have mines placed all over the place, you're a bit safer. And also, the TOS everyone has their expansion in their main, basically, and that usually makes TOSs tend to take, well, take risks more often when they have that, because they feel like they have a choke point defending their main and their expansion, so they kind of cut the production of units for a while to get a quicker expansion, and I'm able to use that by rushing with my FD rush, and sometimes you manage to do some damage, and well, anyways, you force him to make a couple of more goons just to be safe, and that sets him back a little in the early game if you wanted to fast expand. So I guess that's my reasons for going FD on this map, because it feels a lot safer. Also, what, like, this map, since the main is so long, you know, it's kind of, instead of being broad, it's long, so it's a very long travel distance between your main CC and your Expo CC, I guess. So drops are very popular from TOS, because the reader can get in there, take a few hits, and get back. If you have your units at your main CC, it's gonna take them a long time before they arrive there. So that's pretty annoying when facing TOS, and since it's so long, it's like it's hard to cover up all the possible entrance points versus a shuttle. So they can basically enter your main from somewhere and be able to make it to your Expo and take out a few SCVs. But Terran can solve that easily by just placing 1 or 2 tanks there, of course, but if you're not expecting a drop and you haven't placed any tanks there, you can be in a lot of trouble. And TOS, on the other hand, they can't really expand on their second expansion there with the gas, because Terran can easily siege up behind it and take it out without taking too much damage from the TOS's forces. So it's like on Lost Temple, when you place your second expansion in mineral only, it's like you'll most definitely lose that expansion. And it's the same thing here. If you place your second expansion at that gas expo, you're most likely to lose it if you're facing a decent Terran, because he knows that you won't be having too much troubles taking it out, so we'll just go for it, basically. So I like to be pretty, well, I'm always very safe when I play on ladders, you know, and I pretty much play the same, which might be boring for you guys to watch, but I always like to, you know, get the eBay up in time and get a scan running before I move out. But it's not just to be safe, it's to be accurate too, because you'll need those scans to be able to judge whether or not to move out or grab a second expansion. Because you see him taking a quick second expansion, you might want to consider a move out. And like, if you see that he's already gotten it up and has gone into macro mode, you know that you can either try to push that expansion or grab a second expo like I do now, just to trying to catch up in economy or follow him in his economy, you know. So it's really essential that you get scan up pretty quick to be able to base your decisions on that. And scouting with your SCVs and stuff like that is also important while you don't have your scan, but a good TOS usually keeps your scouting, well, your scouter, TOS usually limits your scouting very much in the beginning by just placing like 4 or 5 goons outside your main, because you can't really push out with your first tanks to take those out. So he'll most likely just kill all of your SBs trying to exit your base. So yeah, scan is really essential. So it's not just for defense versus DTs, but it's really good to judge whether or not you're going to attack, defend, expo, etc. And I just scanned his carrier tech, and that means he must have cut his unit production for some time, just to be able to afford those stargates and to start producing those carriers. And I realize I don't have too much time to make a move right now, so I'm gonna just transfer those SVs and attack immediately, because you want to pressure the TvP as much as possible before he gets those carriers out. You need to be able to do as much damage as you can while they're still producing, because that's the weakest point of a TvP going carriers, is basically when they're in the making. The first two ones are in the making, and he's cut his economy just to, or he's cut his production just to go to that tech. They're the most vulnerable phase of the game right now, I think. So I'm gonna use that, and just to be a bitchy Terran, I decided to siege up and punish him for grabbing that expo. So, you know, like, if you grab that expo, Terran will punish you. It's just as simple as that. So I guess the same rules that are applied at the Lost Temple is applied here, that you'll want to grab another main on Katrina rather than going for your third expansion, because of what's happening right now to him. You know, like, he has no way of killing that push, and if he'll try to kill that push, he'll most likely lose all of his ground units, and he'll most likely not be able to eliminate all of my ground units, so he'll lose his expo anyhow. And that's putting yourself in a big disadvantage versus Terran. So yeah, I advise all of your TvP players there not to, well, stay the hell away from that expansion, because we will punish you if you take that expo. But TvP did a little cute matter of his own and decided to counter me and take out my expansion, just to punish me for leaving my base completely unprotected. And that's what differs this map from a lot of other maps. It's kind of easy to counter, you know, because I said there's like 3 entrances to your choke point. Either you can go by the third natural, or the second natural, I mean, or you can go by like a little path that runs along, you know, below your choke, or you can go by another choke at your second natural. So there are 3 ways to exit from your main, basically, and he used that in advantage to counter me, and I lost my command center because he was able to damage it enough, and he sent his carriers to finish the job. So that kind of set me back a little, you know. That's one of the things that you don't want to happen with facing carriers, you know, as I talked about before. Like, these are one of the things that sets me off my game when a TvP does something like that, you know, that they're able to take out your expansion even though you were there defending it. And that makes me lose a lot of, like, focus. But it's pretty okay now, and I'm as I said, if you've heard my other VOD, which has been playing Lost Temple, I told you that when I face carriers, I usually want to, like, add a few more expansion. That's more than necessary, just to have a couple of backup expansions up, and that's what I did now. But it was really good at finding them, so I basically just sent all my wheels to gather gas, because I know that expo is dead, because he saw it pretty quick. So we just gather as much gas as I can before he kills it. And so I'm got kinda numb there by his attack, because my economy kinda slipped a little, and I had to go into defense mode, and I couldn't really kill any of his expos at the moment, because I needed that expansion that he's currently attacking. I needed to defend it to all costs, just to get that third gas and be able to support my Goliaths. But luckily I was able to defend it, and but he's having to go at my other expansion, so that's gonna be down pretty soon. But I choose not to repair it, because I just wanna keep gathering gas up there as much as possible. Yeah, but I think I lifted my command center now, so I decided to save that command center instead, because I know, you can always land it somewhere else. And I got 2 starports up just to see if I could take out some carriers because of the lack of service, and I could. And I had the gas to support it at the time I built the starports, but I don't really have it now because I'm running off 2 gases, and I have and I need to build Goliaths, I need to build raids, and you can't really support that off 2 gases while getting tanks too. So that's why I only have a few raids, but they get the job done. They scare away carriers and buy me some time. And meanwhile, I've added a new expansion because, as I said, I like to expo a little more than necessary when I'm facing carriers. And it really works, I think, because it keeps the TOS busy. He either has to kill your expansions or focus on your main army. And if he focuses on my main army, my economy will grow and I'll be able to reinforce. And if he focuses on my expansions, I'm able to hurt his economy as much as he hurts mine. So it's kind of a win-win situation for both players, So it's just trading expos, and the one who's able to protect one of his expos and take down the others is the one who's gonna win, basically. It's on this map, I feel like when I'm watching this game, I feel like I could have abused the cliffs a little bit more, because I could have just put my tanks there up on the cliff and siege his expo from there. But I kind of didn't realize that, and now I lost a bunch of tanks, which was unnecessary, because I could have basically spared at least 5 more tanks by just putting them up on that cliff. So I guess it's important to look on the map and what you can abuse and take advantage of at the map to get as much out as possible from your performance. And I didn't do that, and I got punished by losing nearly all my tanks. But I noticed that my main CC is still alive, and he's just got 2 sellouts defending it, or guarding it, I guess. So I'm gonna just send a couple of vultures here to clear them out and get that expansion going again. Which can be annoying for the Terran, but also for the Protoss, is that the expansions are so far away from each other. So if you decide to kill one expansion, the other one placed far away will be employed for quite some time. But that can work against Terran too, or it usually works against Terran rather than for Terran, because if TOS is able to expand on another main, chances are that those 2 expos will be pretty far from your main and his main, which means that if you go for his main, you want to be sure that you will be able to kill his army and get into that main and take down buildings, because you can't really take out the main and go for the expos, because there's simply no time for it and they're so far away. So it's basically you need to choose from raising expos or killing his main, and if you choose to raise expos and he has them placed out all over the map, you'll have a hard time, because he'll have the opportunity to get a new expo while you're killing one of his at this location very far away from you. So he'll basically not lose the last one. Oh, the war is over. Oh, GG. Didn't notice that, sorry.